Welcome to Hodgepodge, the place where yarn meets fun. Today we have something truly special to dive into together. We're unboxing and exploring the Tulip Crochet Kit from UEI EU. Now if you take a quick peek at Amazon, you'll notice that if you type Tulip Crochet Kit in the search bar, you'll find at least 5 or 6 different companies selling the exact same thing. I went with UEI EU because it had only around 16 reviews and was the cheapest of the bunch. This vibrant, nature-inspired project is adorable and perfect for gifting. The description says that it's perfect for beginners. I suppose we'll find out together. Whether you're a seasoned crocheter or just starting out, I promise you this journey through petals and patterns is going to be exciting. So, let's unravel this together and see what blooming surprises await us. As you can see, the kit is filled with everything that you need to crochet a successful project. They give you stitch markers, they give you the needle, they include the wire, a glue stick, a crochet hook. They have a book full of the patterns. This is what it looks like from the cover. And this is the first page right here. So it starts with part 1, and part 2 is a list of materials. You can see that they have the stitch markers there, the crochet hook, the yarn needle, stuffing, the manual. They even have part 3, which lists the terminology, the rounds. It's very informative and helpful. We'll do a quick flip through of the book. I'm not sharing any of the patterns actually from the book because I don't own any of the patterns, but this is what the book looks like. And this is what your finished potted plant should look like. This is the crochet kit for beginners, so if you're a true beginner, this little booklet here should help you learn all of the basic stitches. It goes through all of the terminology, it goes through how to work from a pattern, it tells you all of the stitches that are used in the project, and is very informative. It also comes with a QR code so you can see all of these things in video if that works better for you. This is a quick flip through of the booklet. You can see it shows you the magic ring, how to make one. It goes through single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet. It's really very informative. First impressions of the kit are really good. I think the yarn is really nice. I think the booklets are really handy, and I think we're going to have a good time with this project. So let's get started. I'm going to pull out the hook from this little baggie. And we're going to grab the light brown yarn. I'm going to start with that. So this yarn is actually really nice. It's soft, pliable. It reminds me a lot of Red Heart Super Saver yarn. So we're going to start stitching our pot. We're going to begin with a magic ring and chain 1, and off we go. Now I'm not going to go through the specifics of the pattern because I don't own the pattern. We're just going to quickly go through the mechanics of making one of these potted plants. So far the pattern is working up nicely, and I have no complaints at all about the way that it's written. It's very clear, it's precise, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So we've got the base done and the first round of the side. This is what it's looking like now. So far everything seems to be written clearly. There's no mistakes in the pattern. The only thing that bothers me about this pattern so far is that there aren't any video instructions on how to work the pattern. So if you don't know how to read a pattern, you'll be stuck. I don't really think that's beginner friendly. It's a shame that it doesn't come with video instructions on how to do things like back loop only. But other than that, I'm not having any issue at all. So here we've finished the pot. We also had to work front loop only, and there were no instructions on how to do that either. So that was a little disappointing. But the pot came out really adorable. I really like the yarn. I really, had a great time with this. So maybe this pattern isn't exactly for a beginner. It needs to have somebody who has some prior experience with crochet. I think the little pot is adorable. It came out super cute. I did change the pattern a little bit. The pattern has you chaining one, and I ended up just working in a spiral. Next, they want you to do some surface crochet, and this could bog down a beginner because they don't really explain it very well. The only thing that they tell you is where to work the surface crochet, but they don't tell you how to do it. If you don't have a video on how to work this, I really feel like this could be an issue for a newbie. This is the first part of the pattern that we've come to that I think could be a little bit tricky for someone who doesn't really know that much about crochet. The next part of the pattern is the decoration on the top. Again, they're not really all that clear with how the decoration is supposed to be worked. I ended up working mine a little bit differently than the way that it's written in the pattern. Overall though, I think that if you're not new to crochet, you can kind of make these edits on the fly and you'll be fine. You can see how mine turned out. I'm happy with it overall. I just don't think that part is beginner friendly. Just that one section. So the next thing we're going to work on is the soil. And yep, we'll work in a magic ring and chain one and carry on from there. Next we'll work on the leaves. So this book has us working two different types of leaves, small leaves and large leaves. So we'll work on the small leaves first. We have to make 6 of them. And again, the book kind of lets us down a little bit because it says to insert the wire, but it doesn't tell us what color wire to use. Or I assumed that the wire was all the same. So you'll see later on where that comes into play and why it's important to know what color wire is best to use. I ended up doing mine a little bit differently. So I just crocheted the leaf and then I put the wire in last. So here I am grabbing the green wire because we get 2 of these in the pack, and I assumed since we had to do 12 leaves, this would be enough for 12 leaves. After I did this first leaf, I realized that it would be easier to just crochet around the wire, so that's what I did instead. But you could also do it this way too if you don't really know how to crochet around the wire. This way is a little bit more finicky. I'm just going through the back of the stitches here. So here's another thing. Since we're working with wire, it's a really good idea to have on hand a pair of jewelry pliers and wire cutters. It really does make the job go a lot easier. This is the finished leaf, and it would have been nice to have had a video explaining exactly how to work these. I struggled a little bit, and I consider myself to be adept at crochet, but like I said, beginner friendly, maybe not so much. If you have some crochet knowledge, then you could get this to work. Honestly, I have no idea if I did this correctly, but I'm banking on the fact that I hopefully did. Now it's time to make some tulips. The pattern for the tulips seems pretty straightforward, and I think I'll have a good time with this one. This is what it looks like all finished. It kind of looks like a small cup or a bowl shape. And here are all of mine finished. I had plenty of yarn to finish all of the tulips. Now here is where the pattern lets us down a little bit, because they don't actually tell you how to turn this shape into a tulip. So I'm going to show you how to do one, and then if you buy this pattern, or if you get this pattern or this kit, then you'll know how to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab some stuffing, and this stuffing comes vacuum sealed. So we'll just open it up on this end. As you can see, it really doesn't look like much, but when you open it up and sort of air it out a little bit, it turns into a huge amount of stuffing. I ended up using all of this stuffing. Now you want to take a small amount of stuffing and fill your tulip with it. You don't want to overfill it, but you don't want to underfill it either. So aim for a sweet spot where it's not too rock solid hard, but it's not too underfilled either and mushy. There we are. I'm happy with that. So the next thing you're going to do is get your wire. Now, this wire, you'll see that I'm going to cut it into lengths based on how much wire I have, because I only have one of these silver wire. So I cut it into equal lengths, and then I'm going to take this wire and push it up through the bottom. Now they don't tell you how to do this in the pattern. So you push it up through the bottom, and then you kind of create a hook at the top, and then you pull it back down, and it's supposed to catch the stuffing, but it doesn't work. So I'm going to try again, because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I'm going to push it back through the middle here, create a little hook on the end, and I'm going to use my jewelry plier, thinking that maybe that'll work. Maybe. Give it a little hook, and then pull it back down, and nope. This wire is too thin, too flimsy. I'm going to try it again. We'll see what happens. And up through the center. And I thought maybe if I took the stuffing out and attached the wire to the flower itself, it would work. So I'll put the stuffing back in and take a look at what happens next. Yeah. That didn't work. So I gave up on the wire that came in the kit, and I got myself some 22 gauge wire that I had on hand in my house. I'd already had this wire. You can see how nice and firm it is. I go up through the center of the flower. I'm going to create a bend, make a little hook, and pull it back down, and voila, a flower. So the wire from the kit is not going to work. Now, will the green wire work better? I doubt it. But if you're going to get this kit, you're going to need some sort of separate wire because the wire just does not work. So the next thing you're going to need to do in order to make your tulip is to thread your needle. And we're going to make a little crisscross here at the top. So we're going to go into a stitch. After I push down the stuffing, we're going to go into a stitch that's directly across from where you finished and pull. I apologize that this is a little bit off camera. I was a little frustrated with the wire. Then we're going to do that again. Go in and out through the other side and pull. And that creates our first two petals. You can see it makes this sort of 8 shape. The number 8. Then we're going to go to the opposite side under that middle there and out the opposite end and pull. Oops, my yarn came loose. Let's do that again. So we're going to take that same path one more time just to secure it. In through one side, under the middle, out through the other side, directly across, and pull. And now you have 4 petals up at the top. Now the instructions do not tell you how to do this. You have to know how to make a tulip and figure it out on your own. If you have some of the stuffing poking out of the top like I do, I just used a thicker hook, the blunt end of a thick hook, and push the stuffing back in to have clean petals. And now all that's left is to just create a knot at the top to keep it closed. There we go, we'll pull that tight. And all that's left is to weave the tail down through the flower. Look how pretty it is. Now I'll just snip my end, and my first flower is done. And all that's left is to do the rest of them. And here are all my flowers complete. Now I'm not sure if I should have made the stems longer. I kind of guesstimated. They're all about 5.5 inches long, and I feel like they're pretty long enough to fit in this pot. Now with the rest of the stuffing, I stuffed the pot, and here's another thing that they don't tell you. Since you're going to have flowers coming out of the top of this pot, and the flowers are relatively heavy, I feel like if there isn't a weight in this pot on the bottom, the flowers are just going to flop over. So I grabbed a rock, a river rock, and I shoved it into the bottom of the pot just to add a little bit of weight. Now you can do this with a little baggie full of rice or anything that might be a little bit heavy to weight the bottom of the pot, so like this, it doesn't fall over on you. The rock does not come in the kit. The weight, any kind of weight that you add will be something that you add on your own. But I feel like it adds a little bit of stability to the pot. So I used all the rest of the stuffing in this pot, and now you're going to put the dirt into the pot. Again, they do not tell you in the instructions how to do this. They also don't tell you how to assemble anything. So I think for now I'm just going to leave the dirt on the side, and I'm going to work on the leaves and the flowers. So we've got 6 large leaves and 6 small leaves. I'm going to arrange them so that I know which side is which. And now you have to get a glue gun. Again, a glue gun does not come in the kit. It comes with a glue stick, but not a glue gun. So you have to make sure that you have a glue gun. You have to kind of figure out how to assemble the flower with the leaves. I wasn't sure if you were supposed to leave the leaves separate from the flower and just shove them into the dirt, or if you were supposed to attach the leaves to the flower. And in the end, it just made more sense to me to attach the leaves to the flower and then wrap the whole thing. So this is what you'll see me doing here. I start wrapping at the top and then work my way down the wire. And about, I don't know, a third of the way down, I grab a small leaf and sort of wrap that wire around the main wire. Now again, I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it. This is just how I did it because there were no directions on how to do any of this. And I'll keep wrapping the yarn around the wire to cover both. You can see how they're attached now. Now I wasn't sure how far down to go, so I just kind of guesstimated again. And then I added a larger leaf in the same manner as the smaller leaf. I just wrapped the wire around the main wire. And then I'll keep wrapping the yarn around both wires till I get to the end. This is what my finished flower looked like. And I think it looks adorable. I mean, I'm not sure if I did it right, but it looks like a flower. I'm happy with it. Now again, I'm not sure if you're supposed to put the flowers into the dirt before you put the dirt onto the pot, but to me it kind of felt intuitive to put the flowers where I thought they would belong. And you can see how many flowers there are with the leaves on top. It gets pretty heavy. So if you do not have a weight in the bottom of your pot, I have a feeling that this whole thing is just going to flop right over. So here we are. I'm going to put the dirt on the top of the pot. And I'm going to start to sew it all together. Now this is the hardest part as far as assembly is concerned. If you look down here, there are free loops left over from where we crocheted earlier. And I'm going to go through the free loop. Now the pattern does not tell you to do this. It just says, it literally just says, use about 50 centimeters long yarn the same color as the soil to sew the soil together with the pot. I didn't make that up. That's what the book says. So if you're going to make this, you want to grab the free loop from the pot because you end up at some point working front loops only. So you want to grab the free loop from the pot and match it to the stitch on the soil and go all the way around in that manner. And if you do, you'll end up with a nice, neat looking finished project. I'm just going to pull my tail through the bottom of the pot and cut it off. And all that's left is to arrange the flowers and the leaves. So I'm going to work on trying to poke these flowers through the soil and poke them in far enough so that they stand up on their own. And it takes a little bit of finagling, but I'm happy with it at the end. So let's see this one. Put this one here. Now this is where I'm not sure if it makes more sense to do this after you get the soil in or before you get the soil in. I don't know. They didn't say. I think if I were to make this again, I would probably put the flowers in after I sewed the soil to the pot. And there we have it. I think this project is adorable. It's perfect for Mother's Day. It's perfect for a gift for a friend who might be sick or just to give them a smile. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Now, do I think that it's beginner friendly? No. I do not think that this is good for a beginner because it's just way too vague in the directions. The pattern is excellent, but the directions fall short. This is how much yarn I had left over. There's plenty of yarn here to do maybe a whole nother pot. The hook was very good. It's sturdy, held together, doesn't jiggle. This is what they say this plant should look like. Now this is where I think maybe the leaves get poked in separate from the tulip. I really don't know because mine looks different than the final picture. But this is what mine looks like, and I've shared my thoughts and tips along the way, but I'd love to hear yours. Did this kit inspire you to add a floral touch to your crafting repertoire? Drop your thoughts, your experiences, and any ideas you have in the comments below. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to Hodgepodge Crochet for more crochet adventures. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.